What's up, world? It's your boy Lil Ice 1907. So I gotta do my intro. What up, YouTube? You know what I'm saying? I got the Wolfman look going on. Pay no attention to that. It's not my James Harden. It's more like a LeBron. Anyway, I want to talk about LeBron and the haters and the fans who just will not give up. They won't give up. First, I want to say congratulations to LeBron James on winning the season MVP, the Finals MVP, and the Finals. But it wasn't just him. It wasn't an individual effort. It was a team effort. I want to say congratulations to Mike Miller and Shane Battier, Juwan Howard especially. You old fucking son of a... Anyway, I want to say congratulations to those guys. Dwayne Wade on getting your second ring. There you go. Even though you didn't get your second Finals MVP, and LeBron is now tied with you in that category. So I don't know if he'll ever surpass you in rings because you're on this team. So once you retire, I'll say that. I'll make that claim because he can't surpass you if you're on the same team winning. So maybe you go to the Lakers like Shaq. Anyway, secondly, I want to start off by saying that Mike Miller deserves a second year. I was one of the first people to say I didn't like him, but I didn't know the severity of his injuries and what he was going through, the pain, the day-to-day pain that he had to go through. So I want to give him credit for stepping up and breaking a finals record for threes and I don't know if it was a series or a game. I'm pretty sure it was just a game, but either way, incredible effort, individual effort, going out there hitting those shots. I also want to say just congratulations to LeBron James, man. It's been 9 seasons since you came out of high school, and granted, I did not follow you early in your career. I wasn't with you coming out of St. Mary and what is it, St. Vincent. Honestly, I came on kind of in the middle, and I was always pretty much a LeBron James fan. Well, I take that back. I was more of a Jason Kidd fan when he was with the Nets. That was like the only stupid superstars. I say stupid superstar that I actually followed and knew about. So I guess you'd call me pretty much a bandwagon with LeBron, but I don't really consider myself to be bandwagon after sitting through last year with the Dallas Mavericks and going through that and losing that after I talked so much trash. Not one, not two. I was on the bandwagon. I was. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I wasn't with LeBron, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. Even though I didn't know much about Chris Bosh, I honestly didn't. I didn't know that he came from the Toronto Raptors. I don't really consider myself to be an avid basketball fan. I'm much more into the NFL, so I know more about their history and current players and rosters and things with that. But anyway, I want to get to the point that I'm looking at the camera and it looks like I'm talking so fast that it's not registering. But whatever. Anyway, I also want to touch on the fact that this hatred for LeBron James, I want to say that it's cruel and unusual, unnecessary, uncalled for, disrespectful, and it makes you look like an ass. I want to say that first. Now, I'll start off by saying this. If you are from Cleveland, if you're in Cleveland, if you used to be in Cleveland and you were a Cavaliers supporter, I'll give you 3 years to grieve. I usually don't give exceptions on things like this because I believe that it is your right to express doubt in your team and want to advance your career and your life in a positive aspect that really shouldn't affect anyone else. Now, with Cleveland, I gave you your first year. You went 16 and something. This year, you went 22 and something, I do believe. But you're taking steps towards a brighter future, and that's one thing. Second, you all got Kyrie Irving, so I gave you his rookie season. He won Rookie of the Year. So I'm going to give you next year to see what he does become and see how he evolves and progresses and matures and see if he ends up being what you all think he'll be or what he won't be. So, I don't know if you all think he's the next LeBron James. I honestly haven't followed the guy. I didn't know that he was in the Uncle Drew commercial with Mountain Dew, so that was pretty cool of him. So I already like his personality for doing that. That was awesome. But I want to say that hating on LeBron because he left Cleveland is dumb. I'm sorry, I try to think of a better way to say it. It's dumb. Because I look at the fact that, first of all, I'll say I hate teams that build up around one person. I understand you have to build around people, but you should have a core, at least 3 guys, especially on a basketball team where only 5 guys could be on the court at one time. So building it around one person is dumb. That's kind of why I don't like the Bulls, and I'm from Chicago, because you build around one person. I see Derrick Rose. He's great. He's an great individual athlete, all-star, no problem. But then when he goes down, it brings the team down. And I remember Chicago, and I'm going to go back to the Heat, and I'm not going to get off topic. But I remember you guys were saying you had a bench mob, and you were going to win, and it was like, okay, where is that? You see what I'm saying? So I go back to the Heat, and I know if LeBron James went down, probably the Heat probably wouldn't have won. No, I would say they wouldn't have won. But you know, I understand that. But because they didn't just build up around him, they built with him. They brought Chris Bosh with him. They signed Shane Battier with them. It wasn't just one guy. It wasn't some old guy like Carlos Boozer or Rip Hamilton. Anyway, with the Miami Heat, I look at the fact that in the Cavaliers, going back to that, how can you build up around one person? So, if in case he does leave, because that's in his contract, he became a legal free agent. He didn't violate any rules, any laws, maybe some unspoken rule that you're not supposed to leave your team and go out and try to achieve something better than what you are achieving with the current team. And speaking of that, LeBron James dragged the Cleveland Cavaliers to the finals. Yes, they got swept by the Dallas Mavericks. Not the Dallas, I'm sorry, but the San Antonio Spurs. Yes, they did get swept. That is not funny, but I'm laughing. That yes, they did get swept. And I just look at that, but name me other people who at his age could drag a team to the finals. First of all, that's miraculous. Second of all, the fact that he didn't win is the remaining in the sanity of the world. Because if he had won that finals, do you realize how insane that would have been? The fact that he can drag a team and then beat a whole team as an individual, and people honestly expect that of him. LeBron James is great. I'm a LeBron James fan, but he's not that. I mean, you can win games, but teams, you know, I'll say it like this. It's a picture in the Boston Celtics arena that says individuals win games, teams win championships. And the Heat proved that. The Cavaliers lost arguably their greatest player in history, who could be, if he isn't already. And the fact that you all hate him is ridiculous. He gave you 9 years, 8 seasons, I do believe it was. And he gave you a trip to the finals. He gave you a conference championship. He gave you multiple division championships. And what more do you want from this man? I understand that you want an NBA championship and you want that finals and you want them to get the rings there and you want them to just celebrate as Cleveland Cavaliers, and I understand that. But to say that you hate him because he left a team that was not going to reach the mountaintop. Let's not play words. Let's not mince words. They were not going to reach that top tier. Not with just an individual trying to carry them. You can't do that. Not anymore anyway. You used to be able to do that. Yes, you could. But now in this league, no. Individuals cannot win championships like that. I want to say that, first of all, people who've been caught up in this media thing, this spin where they're just going to say, oh, I hate LeBron James. And then you ask them why and they can't say anything other than what they've heard on ESPN and Sports Center or TNT Sports or whatever the fuck it is on TNT. You know, I look at the fact that when you ask them why they hate this man, they regurgitate things like he chokes, he's selfish, he's arrogant. Let me say something. LeBron James averages more assists than most point guards in the fucking league. LeBron James is selfish though. I want to say LeBron James is arrogant, but he came in this season saying that he was immature and ill-developed last year when they lost to Dallas. I don't really think that plays into arrogance. Even when Kobe Bryant loses, he says, oh, somebody else has to be more assertive or somebody else has to step up. He doesn't admit his mistakes and being a ball hog. But LeBron James is arrogant? What was the other one? Arrogant, selfish, and choke. Oh, this is great. This one really got coined this year. I hadn't even heard this until, well, the end of last year. Choking. Well, the NBA started by saying shrinking, but it's moved on to choking now. I don't think you can truly choke if you've never been a closer. I don't think you can be a choker if you've never been a finisher. I don't think you can fail at something if you've never attempted something. I don't think you can be burned unless you put your hand in the fire. Expanding on that, I like to say that LeBron James was never a closer. Eventually, somebody's going to hit a miraculous shot. He's done that. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, every dog has his day. LeBron James has never historically taken the ball in the fourth quarter and said, hey, I'm going to take over. I'm going to do it. I'm going to win this game. I'm going to close. I'm going to be clutch. I'm not going to choke. I'm going to be the cerebral assassin. I'm going to be Batman. I'm going to be Superman. I'm going to be the fucking Green Hornet. He's never said that. He said, hey, I'm going to try to help us get there, and then I need you guys to help me in the fourth quarter. Because he's not known for the streaks where he just dominates. Like, I look at Kevin Durant. Great in the first quarter, disappears second quarter, disappears third quarter, great in the fourth quarter. I think it's like this. People don't really remember what happens in the middle of movies, which is the story. They want to know what happened at the end and how it started. They don't want the journey. They don't want the ascent to Mount Everest. They want the peak, and they want the ground, the base. They don't want to climb the fucking thing. Okay. I look at the fact that I'll list another fact. LeBron James has been more clutch than Kobe Bryant his career. Look it up. I wish I had the link. I'll look for it. I think it's in my favorites, and I'll probably put it in the video somewhere. I'll figure out how to fuck to work the annotations and shit. But I'll put it up there because I think it's something people need to see. I think it's a great fact. I think it's great reporting. But nobody mentions that. That little story. The little horse who could. Little train who could. Nobody says anything about LeBron James being more clutch than Kobe. I don't know what people define clutch as. I don't think it's... I know that reporters and analysts have a universal definition of clutchness. And then people have a definition of clutchness. Apparently, the public's connotation of clutch is taking the last shot and hitting it for the win or overtime. The analysts view clutchness as making a play within 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I think that's what it is. I could look it up. I read that on ESPN just a couple of days ago. I actually read that. So that's the official definition going off of the analysts. And with that, LeBron James has been very clutch his career. But people just focus on that last shot, that what if he would have hit that? And that to me is wrong. That's totally uncalled for. Saying that, because he missed the last shot, his other 40-something point, 30-something, 20-something point, you know what I'm saying, doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. And honestly, it kind of is, because your team lost. So what you did didn't matter. The individual effort doesn't matter if the team doesn't have a win. I kind of understand that. But this whole idea of clutchness is insane. It's insane. Because someone who has 45, 15, and 5 or something like that isn't clutch. You can still bring this up and say he's not clutch. Let's just look at this year, because I don't want to go all the way back. Let's just look at this year. The Boston Celtics. This is the most memorable one for LeBron, for me. When they were on the brink of elimination, Game 6, back in Boston, in the TD Garden. The best fans in the NBA, I do believe they said. And then OKC was after them, I think. He put up 45-15. I think it was 5. It might have been 8. I don't really remember the end. But this man put up these kind of spectacular numbers. But he's not clutch. He forced a Game 7. Name me another individual in the league right now who could force a Game 7 just off will, by themselves, just by saying, I am not going to let us go out right now. We will not be stopped. I won't allow it. I won't allow the wheels to come off of the car. I won't allow the treads to come off of the tank. I will not allow this jet to run out of fuel. Name me another individual that can say. Chris Paul, who admittedly he did help the Clippers become noticeable, acceptable, I guess, even though they got swept. But I mean, I just look at that and it's like, that's not clutch. Keeping your team from being eliminated when other people are struggling. Okay. I look at these finals compared to last year's finals. Last year, I think his average was 17 points. It's 30 this year. That's a double-digit improvement over 1 year. Name me another player who could just elevate their game like that. Just bring it up to a whole nother level. In the league right now, that's LeBron James's age. I'm not talking about older guys. Just like they couldn't do it. I'm talking about, name me another player who could say, hey, I'm going to elevate my game and we're going to win. Not just elevate it, but win. Don't worry, I'll wait. Take your time. I don't have any elevator music, but I'll wait. Take your time. No. Don't rush. Exactly. Going back to LeBron and this whole hating him thing. I've just eliminated your facts against clutchness. That's argument's gone. What else is there? He hasn't shrunk. He's an NBA champion. He's a season MVP, finals MVP, 3-time MVP. He's all defensive team. He has a gold medal in the Olympics. Rookie of the year. Records in the NBA. What more do you want from him? I mean, what the fuck do you want him to do? To run into a burning building and drag some children out, all while wearing fucking all cotton clothing that are colored like Superman with a picture of Dwight Howard on his back? What do you want? That's what I don't understand. That's what haters can't seem to explain to me, and I can't seem to accept from them. What do you want from LeBron James for him to be acceptable to you? First of all, he shouldn't have to be acceptable. Let's get that out of the way. You're nobody to LeBron James. Let's just be frank. I'm nobody to LeBron James. I'm nobody, But I respect talent. I respect effort. I respect hard. I respect modesty. I respect honesty. When somebody can come out and say, oh, well, I was losing myself last season and I was trying to silence you guys. There was just so much hate on me. But I'm over that now. I'm willing to put my best foot forward. I want to help this team win. And does that. And it's still not enough. I mean, the fact that there are haters out there is unbelievable. But now we're done with the haters. Let's move on to OKC. The Oklahoma City Thunder have a lot of bandwagon fans. I feel like they said it about the Heat fans a lot. Oh, they're bandwagon as hell. And they're 2010 and they jumped on. First of all, I admit, I really didn't pay attention to the Heat or basketball past 2010. I mean, I was a New Jersey Nets fan, like I told you, with Jason Kidd until he got traded or he left. I can't remember what the fuck it was, because once he was leaving, I was done. I don't know why. I just liked that he was on the Nets and he was Jason Kidd. But, I started following the Heat 2010. I did, with LeBron James. And because I was so excited that he could seize this moment and get his ring and achieve this monumentous task and become a part of true NBA history, as people say. I look at the fact that OKC has a lot of bandwagon fans, especially up here in Chicago. I'm speaking off my experience. I'm not just making this up. Up here in Chicago, with the Heat, it's kind of a motto of anybody but the Heat, which is insane. I understand that the Bulls and the Miami Heat are in the Eastern Conference. I understand that. But it shouldn't be, well, we want anybody but the Heat. First of all, you should say, once the Bulls got eliminated, oh, I don't have a team in the finals or the NBA playoffs. I'll just concede and say, hey, whoever wins, great, good luck, let the best team win, and we'll be back next year. Say that. Be respectful. Instead, up here, I've heard from the beginning, when the Bulls got eliminated, it was the Pacers are going to beat the Heat, the Celtics are going to beat the Heat, and then most recently, the Thunder will beat the Heat. Let's go back to the beginning. The Pacers were up 2-1, playing tough basketball, and, people, oh, snap. You guys really need Chris Bosh. And I never said he wasn't important, but you guys really need Chris Bosh. You're not going to be able to survive this. These young guys are fighting. They're going to beat you. And then when they lose, it's, oh, well, the Heat pulled some goons off the bench, and Dexter Pittman and Udonis Haslem and punked the Pacers. That's insane because the Pacers started that whole physical play, and then they hated it when it turned on them. Who's the Celtics? All I've heard up here was, oh, those old men are going to give you a run for your money. They have one more run in them. They're going to be great. But when they thought that Miami would have the number one seed up here in Chicago, and when they didn't get in, they were second in the Bulls. They thought the Bulls were going to face the Celtics. They were, oh, we're going to put down those old men. They ain't got nothing left in the tank. They're old. We got Derrick Rose. But when it was the Heat, it was, oh, those old men. You know, they might be on the edge, but they're crawling back. They got one more run in them. Why is it so drastically different? What is that? I understand there might be hard feelings from the Heat beating the Bulls last year. I understand that. But I look at the fact that get the fuck over it. Okay. Now the Oklahoma City Thunder. What made people think that they were just going to dismantle the Heat? Yes, they beat the previously defending champion Dallas Mavericks, who defeated the Heat. They defeated the Lakers, who have multiple championships in Kobe Bryant. They defeated the San Antonio Spurs, who also have multiple championships in Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Parker. Yes, they did those things. But those are different kind of teams. Those teams didn't have LeBron James or Dwayne Wade or Chris Bosh. Those teams were made up in different kind of philosophies, different kind of ways, yet they're comparable. There's always been a saying that the East Conference plays defense, the Western Conference plays offense. And you really see that with the Heat. Yes, they have a dynamite offense once they get going, but the defense is there. And it's always been there, except for maybe the beginning of the first 2010 season, which was abysmal. We had to get together and, consolidate. But I look at the fact that what made you all think OKC was just going to destroy the Heat? What started that thought? What put that in your mind? The media, who had hyped them up? Kevin Durant, who's a great young guy, has a lot of room to improve. He's got a lot of potential as well. But the guy who's 7'4" when he jumps but got 0 rebounds in Game 4 of the NBA Finals? Russell Westbrook, who is not a true point guard, who was moved to point guard, who is selfish. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be selfish in the league. It's a bad thing to be selfish and a point guard in the league. James Harden, who shrunk to 20% in the finals, field goal range. The guy who looked to defer in the finals instead of taking a wide open jumper. These were the guys who were going to beat the Miami Heat. And I'm not saying Miami Heat are the best team in the NBA. Well, they are this year because they won the championship. That automatically gives you the title of best team in the NBA. It just does. It's automatic. But, they said the Miami Heat only have 3 players. They don't have a team. Yet when we get to the finals, I hear, oh, the Thunder couldn't handle the big 3 and the Heat had the better bench. Wouldn't that mean they had the better team? Isn't that what that means? But that's not what you said in the beginning. Okay. I look at the fact that I'm going to touch on this next. The flopping. Let's do the flopping because I'm going to do the officiating after that. So we might as well do flopping. Yes, LeBron James does flop. Yes, Dwayne Wade does flop. Yes, Shane Battier does flop. But so does Kevin Durant. I've never seen Bosh flop. I don't know. So if he does, I've never seen it, so I really don't know. But Kevin Durant, I honestly can't say he flops. I've really never seen him flop that I know of, that I can really think of off the top of my head. Russell Westbrook, well, I don't know if he caught flopping, but the guy gets the ball like off a rebound, off a fast break, and he'll run as fast as he can, and then slow down and let the other guy on the opposing team, who in this case is the Heat, run into him and fall all over him, and he gives that a foul. That to me is flopping. James Harden, whenever he takes contact, throws his goddamn head in that filthy ass bird nest of a beard back like somebody hit him with a 2x4. That's flopping. But I look at the fact that they're officiating. How can you say that officiating really decides NBA Finals games? Why would your team, who you said was the better team, and I'm addressing OKC fans at just this point, who you said was the better team, would allow a game to be so close when you all said they were going to sweep the Heat? Whoever came out of the East was going to be beaten by the West. No problem. It didn't matter. Whoever the fuck it was. But officiating decided this game? Yes, at the end of game 2, Kevin Durant was fouled. Excuse me. But he was fouled. It was blatant. It was obvious. It was right there. I don't know. From the angle it was on TV, it really didn't seem like the referee could see him. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I know he was fouled. Yes, he did. But just like Kevin Durant said at the end of that game, hey, I make those shots. I make tough shots. I just missed the shot. He wasn't officiating. I don't know if you consider that being a bigger person or if that was him being honest. He was fouled. There's no doubt about it. But, the Heat are just the NBA champions.